Hey peeps, welcome to another video. Today it is my top 5 hits and top 5 misses of 2020. I've just filmed my 2020 year in review lookbook video and I've gone through all the things that I've made, and there were some definite high points and some definite low points as well. I've seen this trend go around on the sewing blog network for the last couple of years, but I thought it would be quite an interesting one to talk you guys through, and obviously I don't really blog anymore, I waffle at you, so here we are. Shall we start with the wins, because I think we can go through those quite quickly because the misses are going to be far more fun to discuss. So one of my most successful makes of the year, I would say, is this dress. This is the Vogue 9345 shirt dress. I have made 2 of these, but I think this is my favourite of the 2. The first one I made was a sleeveless maxi dress, and then I have made this midi dress with the giant sleeves on it. So the pattern would actually have you leave these as bell sleeves, which I think is ridiculous, and I would end up with them in everything. So I added in a continuous lap and a cuff and some buttons, and I love how this looks. I got this fabric from the very lovely Rachel. She had bought some and featured it in one of her fabric hauls. I've probably repeated this story quite a few times now, but yeah, I saw her fabric haul, fell in love, asked for some, and she got me some. She brought it down to the retreat, I paid for it, took the fabric, and because it was at the retreat I was in such a rush and you know, it was such a busy weekend that I completely forgot where this fabric came from, and it became a mystery fabric in my stash till Rachel was like, I got it for you, you idiot. And I was like, thank you. I am so happy with how this dress has turned out. I wear it a lot. I've probably worn it about 5 or 6 times since I made it, and I made it in November, so I've worn it a lot recently. Given how statement it is, I've probably worn it more than I should have done, but I absolutely love it. It's really comfortable. I like how swishy the skirt is. I like the giant sleeves. I like the giant sleeves that are contained and do as they are told and don't get in the way. So yeah, I really like the notched collar. I think I've decided I prefer this type of collar to the full button-up collar stand and collar version, but I love this notch collar, and over the moon with this dress. 100% I think my favourite dress that I've made this year. Very, very, very closely followed by the Liberty Carline Cotton Lawn in blue 8577. I've had that dress in mind for the longest time and I love it. I absolutely love it. I have worn it a couple of times since I made it. I probably would have worn it more if we'd have been doing more things this year, but yeah, the couple of times that I have worn it, I've just absolutely adored it. I've had that dress in mind for the longest time. I bought the fabric probably about 3 years ago now, and I'm really pleased that I finally got it sewn up this year. It is an expensive dress. It's 5 meters of fabric in the outer, and Liberty Lawn is now £25 per meter. At the time I bought it, it was £22.50, so still expensive. And then there's another 5 meters for the lining, because I like to fully line the bodice and the skirt of the dress as per the pattern. If you're using a slightly heavier weight fabric, you wouldn't necessarily have to do that, but my preference is to fully line it. But yeah, giant pockets, pretty flowers, big twirly skirt, fitted bodice. I love that dress. I think number 3 for my favorite makes is my border print trouser set. So technically it's 2 things, but as a set together, I love how this looks. It was some border print rayon that I got from Stitch Fabrics. I used the Simplicity wrap trouser pattern, and I used the stripe, or the border print, the stripes down the front of that. I knew it was going to look good, but I was surprised how good it looked. I made a fully lined hunter tank to go with that, and there is a lot of knots and fabric at the front of that particular set when I wear it all together, but I just love how it looks. Absolutely love how that one looks. So I was really pleased with how that one came out. My next favourite make, I think, is going to have to be my Charm Patterns Princess Coat in the underwater fabric, or to me it kind of looks like seaweed underwater. So it's my underwater rainbow coat. I've lined it with some cotton silk from Spoonflower. I used some rainbow bias binding that the lovely Karin sent me as the flat piping on the inside detail. It is a very loud and in-your-face coat. but it is absolutely gorgeous, and I am so proud of how that came together. It's my first time making band buttonholes, and they look quite good as well. They're not perfect, but for a first attempt, I did do a first attempt in a scrap piece of fabric, not on my coat, by the way. But for, okay, so for my second and third and fourth attempt, I'm very pleased with how the band buttonholes came out. Yeah, I'm proud of that coat. I'm really proud of that coat. I've worn it once, and it's not cold enough here to wear it yet, because I was literally hot yeah, it's a very, very warm coat, which bodes well because that's what I wanted as well. But I don't think the temperature's got less than sort of 3 or 4 degrees here in the UK, or in my part of the UK, so it's not been something that I've really needed to wear out since. So I've been wearing my trench coat version of that pattern, which would have got into the top 5 except for the Vogue 9357 denim skirt, blue denim skirt. And it sounds like a really boring thing to be in the top 5, but I decided earlier this year that I just don't like how skinny jeans look on me, and they're the only jeans that I have in my wardrobe at the moment that remotely fit me, and I just don't like how they look on me, and I stopped wearing denim. And I really like wearing denim because we've conditioned ourselves to think that denim goes with everything, and so it does. I mean, you can wear whatever you like with whatever you like. I was missing having a denim item to pair things with in my wardrobe, and I'd had this fabric in my stash for quite a while. It was going to be a Butterick 6309 or 90. Once I'd kind of gotten it out of my head that I was going to make a jacket out of it, it suddenly occurred to me that I can make a skirt out of this one. The Vogue 9357 is a gorgeous pattern. I've done a sew along for it. The bodice is problematic. The stupid darts, they're an inch above the apex on the pattern, and I've tried and tried and tried to get them to not be pointy, and it's just created other fit issues. So I'm gonna scrap that bodice, and I've got another bodice that's similar in my stash, so I'm going to attempt to kind of finagle those together. But the skirt portion of that dress is gorgeous, and I made this denim version and I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's definitely in my top 5. So yeah, that's my top 5 makes from this year. Which is your favourite? Is there any surprises in there? Would you have put something else in the top 5? I'm really kind of surprised by the ones that I've picked. I wasn't expecting to love some of these ones as much as I do, and I have been wearing them very, very frequently, which is why they've ended up in the top 5. So now for the misses, for the top 5 misses of 2020. There were quite a few not so great makes, but there were some standout ones when I was watching back through all the twirls of things that really just didn't hit the mark and weren't either what I hoped for or just don't suit me. So the first one is the sew over at Anderson blouse but in knit fabric. I was determined to make this work, and I stupidly cut into some really expensive fabric from Albstoff for the first one, the burgundy and gold one, and I think that one I've managed to tweak it so that it's passable. But after having problems with that one, I then went on to cut out a second one out of some shark knit fabric that didn't have any stretch to it. It was a sweatshirting fabric with 0 stretch, so I couldn't use it to make one of like the Astoria jumpers or the sort of tighter fitting jumpers that I personally like to wear. So I kind of thought it was a perfect combination with the Anderson blouse and this shark print, and it just hasn't worked. I was desperately trying to make it work, and it just has not worked. Neither of them have worked. They're still in my wardrobe, but I think they're probably going to end up getting cold, and I'm annoyed with myself because I love both of those fabrics, but the idea was there. I think I'd heard Lisa Comfort talk on her channel about how she'd seen somebody in a knit Anderson blouse and loved it, and it just immediately made me go, oh yes, that's going to be brilliant. And I just couldn't make it work, and I shouldn't have tried to make it work with those fabrics. I'm very annoyed with myself for those ones. So yeah, that's number 1. Number 2 is the first coat that I attempted this year, and it's the Gertie coat via Butterick. I made it in the green wool. Thankfully it was an inexpensive wool, an inexpensive lining, and I think the most expensive part was the cotton flannel actually that I interlined it with. I spent a lot of time hand sewing on some appliques and beads to the collar, and I I read all the reviews online and they all said that the coat came up massive, so I kind of tried to take that into account and I made it slightly too small for myself. Even with it slightly too small for myself, I still ended up with giant bunches of fabric because it has grown-on sleeves. Grown-on sleeves are great for certain things, but personally on a coat that looks like that, it didn't work for me. So that coat has since been donated, and it was a learning curve, but it was definitely a time-costly learning curve. Again, the fabric wasn't expensive, but I could have made such a lovely coat with that green fabric, and I'm annoyed with myself that I made that one. But never mind, you live and you learn, and the coats that I made towards the end of the year have been much more successful. Next up is another one of those things that I shouldn't do. I love seeing how other people interpret patterns. I love seeing how other people dress. I take inspiration from that, but I find that I look best and feel best when I make up my own aesthetic rather than trying to copy other people, because the thing looks amazing on the other person and it just doesn't look right on me. And this is a classic example of that. I've fallen in love with the Deer and Doe Sirocco pattern. I'd made two of them, one of which was a wearable muslin and didn't work for me. Tweaked the pattern, made it work for me, loved it. I was going through the Deer and Doe Sirocco hashtag on Instagram and I came across this lovely lady who had made a very sort of nautical inspired Sirocco. It had a white and navy striped top, a red waistband, and then a solid navy bottom on it, and it looked amazing on her. Absolutely amazing on her. So I recreated it, you know, fabric for fabric. I literally made exactly the same thing and I hate it on me. And I know a load of you guys really liked it, but for me it just wasn't right, and I can't put my finger on why I don't like it on me. But it was another one of those things where I think because I was slavishly trying to copy someone else's make, it looked fabulous on her but it just didn't work for me. So yeah, that was a big fail and that one got donated. Then this next one might be quite controversial because the actual dress, the actual finished dress, I like. It's my parrot dress. I bought this fabric from M. Rosenberg. It was in panels. They were 150 long, and I bought 2 panels to start with and then managed to get my hands on another half panel. I knew I wanted to make a dress with it. I knew I didn't want to make a duster coat or just like a shift dress or something like that, because I wouldn't wear those, and whilst I loved the fabric, I was trying to work out the best way of utilising the print and getting an item that I liked out of it. So I went for the By Hand London Anna bodice and then the Vogue 9357 skirt. Overall, I do like this, but there were so many mistakes made during the make of this that I haven't worn it since I finished it. The pattern matching for the bird over the front isn't right. The waist tucks kind of distort the pattern in such a way that I don't like how it looks. The overall dress is what I had envisioned, but the execution of it is not up to my standards, and I was trying to work out so that I could have a side zip because I thought I was going to have to cut the back panel from a full cockatoo, and it turns out I got, like I say, managed to get some more fabric so I could cut out the back panel out of grey, so I could have had a centre back zip, and I hate side zips. There were so many little problems with it. It's not a dress that I'm happy with. Like, you guys loved it, and in all honesty it looks great. It's left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth because it didn't quite come out how I'd expected it to. So much so that when Stitch Fabrics put up on their Instagram that they had three more panels of this parrot fabric in, and that was it, I bought the last 3 panels of it. I've spent a lot of money on this fabric because I now feel better about this dress because I have another 3 panels in my stash so that I can try and recreate something in the future that is more in line with the vision that I have in my head, which is mad. It's totally mad. But yeah, that parrot dress. That parrot dress. It was supposed to be this glorious thing and it's just not quite right. So I've actually put it in my fails for the year because, yeah, it has just left the bad taste in my mouth, unfortunately. And then the final one, I don't think will come as a surprise to any of you, but it is my McCall's 7537 in the navy and mustard colourway. So the pattern envelope has a line drawing of one of the versions made up in 3 different fabrics, and I love it. I really wanted to try it because I just thought it was a really interesting kind of concept for a dress. So I was thinking, yeah, this would be great. And I'm not great at putting different types of patterns together, so I thought a good way of sort of cheating the system a little bit would be to buy the same print in different colorways. So I made the dress up in the 2 different colorways of this pattern, and I think one of the things that fails about it is the little sleeve doodads. I'm so used to seeing myself in that dress with the longer sleeves, and I love those sleeves, and I've added those sleeves to many other dresses. I just don't like how that dress looks on me with the little I don't think I'd like it sleeveless. I might like the short sleeve version, but I love the long bishop sleeve version, so much so that this one didn't seem quite right. Loads of you guys, there were differing opinions on, like, the bottom panel was too heavy and dragging it down. You didn't like the bias binding. I promise in real life the bias binding matches perfectly. On camera it just looks slightly off. That the navy over here looked like a harness with, so there were lots of differing opinions. Loads of you guys loved it, loads of you guys had constructive criticism for this dress. I think that if I had enough fabric to cut out the long bishop sleeves in the mustard, I think I could possibly save it. I don't have enough fabric because whilst I was cutting that dress out, I got all gung-ho and cut out a reversible hunter tank out of the remainder of the fabric. So I have enough fabric left to piece some sleeves, so they'd be mustard at the top and then pieced with navy at the bottom. But I don't love it enough that I am willing to put in the effort to put the new sleeves on to see if I like it, because I just don't like the dress overall. I think my pattern, it wasn't even pattern clashing, was it? But it was a failed experiment, which I was really sad about, because the fabric is lovely, and if I'd have made the full dress up in either of those fabrics, like the mustard or the navy, I would have taken the doodads off and put the longer sleeves on, because I don't like those, I keep calling them doodads, I don't like them. But if I'd have made it up in one or other of the colours, I think it would have been gorgeous. But as the mixture of the two, for me, it just didn't work. That's it. And I mean, basically this is like a really one of those too long didn't read of my year in review video, so you can see the worst ones and the best ones. I thought it was quite interesting making notes when I was doing the whole year in review for the ones that really stood out to me as like the yeah, I love that, and the oh gosh, what was I thinking moments. Let me know in the comments down below if you think I'm being a little harsh on some of my misses, or if you think I've misjudged some of my top 5, because I'd be really interested to see what you guys think. But for me, yeah, these are my top 5 and top 5 hits and top 5 misses. So I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!